So the first official Springbok squad has just recently been announced, making the decisions last night. Rassie Erasmus, it's probably about midnight in South Africa at the time of the squad announcement. I assume that there might have been some late changes. Stormers getting defeated in the last game of the URC quarterfinals, and I would say that that probably brought a lot more players into the squad outside of what would have initially been available if it had just been the Sharks, Lions, and international players there as well. But in this video, we're going to be letting you know exactly who is in that squad. Now, of course, this is not the team that will be taking on the Irish. The Bulls players will also be available for those contests, although with the amount of injuries they've had recently, you wonder how many players will be left for that series. But we will jump straight into it. Looking through at the forwards in alphabetical order, they are going to be as follows. Pepsi Buthelezi for the Sharks. I mean, it was evident that eventually that man was going to get himself a Springboks call-up. He has been very strong for the Sharks over the last couple seasons. He's got the captain's qualities as well, so perhaps a future Bok captain if he does continue with the route that he has taken. Joseph Dweber and Ben Jason Dixon both playing for the DHL Stormers. So two guys who initially, if Glasgow had been defeated by the Stormers, we may not have seen in the Springbok squad for the Welsh match. Peter Steph-Totoy has been playing his rugby in Japan, has been doing extremely well, so I'm looking forward to seeing him back in a green and gold kit, and he will be up against the Welsh first of all, but of course the big series that he's looking forward to will be up against the Irish. Ebenezer, he's been dealing with a couple injuries as of late, but he looks like he's going to be alright to go in to this Welsh match. Nilling Fouché for the Stormers, Vincent Koch for the Sharks, Frans Malherbe for the Stormers. So I guess the good news about the Stormers getting knocked out of the URC, if there is good news, is the fact that they have now got a little bit more depth at scrum time for the Springbok side. Malcolm Marx, it's been anticipated that that man will be returning at some point, and it's finally happening. He's going to be fresh as a daisy, hopefully, for the July internationals, but he's with the squad now, maybe even gets a few minutes in that game up against the Welsh. Bongio Manambi, Ntutoko Machunu for the Sharks, Salman Moura, actually coming off a yellow card in that last game of the URC. I wonder whether or not that had any effect on whether Rassie Erasmus wanted to put him in his side. He's a solid man at line-out time, so I'm curious to see if he can work any sort of starting minutes when you've got someone like an Ebenezer who will be competing with them for that number 4 jersey. Franco Mostert has also been playing in Japan, just like Peter Steph-Totoy. Oxnische Evan Ruis, he was probably one of the players that most were unsure whether or not he would get that call-up. Of course, this is the perfect opportunity for him to show what he can do in that green and gold jersey, because his discipline throughout the URC season, I'm going to mention it, the man's got a temper, and that can be good at times, but at other times when he decides to just randomly take a player out, that can cost you a little bit. So I'm hoping that that discipline is slowly going to be getting a little bit better. Plus, about 1 or 2 weeks ago, we actually saw him break up a fight between players out there on the URC field, and that was really weird to see, as he's normally the one who is actually starting them. But Kwaka Smith, he has been playing in Japan. Andre Hugo Fenter for the Stormers, and then Jasper Wiese of the Leicester Tigers, actually the only premiership player in the 4-pack for the Springboks. But looking through at the backs, there were a lot of questions. The fact that there's no Damian Valimza, with the fact that they cannot select Bulls players, and even if they could, currently Kutli Arendse out with an injury, Kanan Moody out with an injury, Willie LaRue still 50-50 with how he has been playing over the last few weeks. But it is Damien Dialindi returning from Japan, Faf de Klerk returning from Japan, Andre Esterhuizen of the Quins, Apalele Fassi for the Sharks. Now I think that 15 jersey is currently wide open for the Springboks, because like I mentioned, with Damian Valimza being out for probably another 3 or so months, it gives someone that big opportunity to take that jersey with both hands. Could it be Apalele Fassi, Jordan Hendrickse, young fly half / 12 option for this side, Sasha Feinberg Ungume Zulu? There's been a lot of talk about how good this man can be. Didn't do too much in that quarterfinal up against the Glasgow Warriors, but perhaps this is the opportunity that he needs to be able to shine. Ethan Hooker for the Sharks, I think well deserved. He's been solid throughout this season, and that's the thing. He's been on a Shark side that's been struggling, but still has been consistently able to make meters and making some solid tackles. Juan Horn, another man looking for that number 15 jersey. Gislin Colby back into the side. Of course, a lot of people excited to see what that man can do. Recently got endorsed by Prime, so he's joined the list of athletes while getting a nice little paycheck there. Jesse Creel, Mani Libok. Can you give that man the kicking tee? I don't know. That last game of the URC made it very tricky to decide. Before that stage, of course, I've been a bit of an advocate for giving Mani Libok the chance, but it just didn't go well in the URC quarterfinals. Makazole Mapimpi, Sia Masuku, he is going to get the opportunity after his fantastic season off the kicking tee, and also with that consistency that he's been able to bring at 10 defensively. A much deserved call up for Sia Masuku, but he's got to compete with this man, Andre Pollard, a lot of people's first choice fly half for the South Africans, and if they had it their way, probably the first choice fly half for the next 5 years or so. I think that Masuku is going to have to really work for minutes here. Mani Libok, I don't know whether or not Rassi will throw him straight into the deep end and put him back at fly half in the starting lineup. Perhaps a spot off the bench could be the better spot there. Morne Vandenberg for the Lions. He has electric pace round the side of the breakdowns. He's been extremely impressive, so it's great to see him getting that call up. Edward van der Merwe for the Lions, and then also Grant Williams for the Sharks. So only going with the 3 halfbacks this time. We're not seeing the World Cup 4 like we saw last time. And Faf de Klerk, of course, keeping his spot. Grant Williams keeping his. But then we're not seeing any Kobus Reinach or Jaden Hendrickse. Instead seeing that replacement of Morne Vandenberg. But their game up against Wales, it is going to be taking place late June. Like I mentioned, we are covering that one on the channel. So if you are new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Let me know what you think of the Springbok squad in the comments down below. Just to clarify once again, the Bulls players were not eligible to be selected in this squad due to their success in the URC. They will be through to the semi-final where they will be taking on Leinster at Loftus. It's going to be a pretty massive game. This game taking place between Wales and the Springboks. It is on the 22nd of June, and it also has another game taking place from the same location. The Barbarians going to be in action, and I believe they are playing up against the Fijians. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all for the next one.